Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the 1916 Company. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Email us for pricing, tmosso at the 1916company.com. Today we discuss a model launched back in 2016. This example, white gold made in 50 pieces, a send-up of the famous smartwatch. This is Moser getting in on its own joke. A watch that encourages you to disconnect. It wears its influences on your sleeve and does so with a big, broad smile. Moser of Schaffhausen proving that even the German Swiss up in the northeast of the country know how to laugh at themselves. So the Swiss Alp Watch that you see right here in white gold, 38.2 millimeters from side to side, not including the crown. It's only 10.3 millimeters thick. And then from lug tip to lug tip, 51.1 millimeters, uses a size 22 strap. Out of the hand and onto the wrist, no, it won't count your steps. It won't monitor your sleep. What it will do is wear beautifully and, frankly, a little bit like a wire lug radiomere. So if you've worn one of those, you have a pretty good idea how this is going to fit. You look at the case itself, not the lugs, because the lugs are so spare. Aesthetically, you look at where the case is, and you can see down the barrel, the definitive angle. The case is nowhere near the edge of my wrist on either side. So you could wear this watch, in my estimation, on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. Being thin with a sloped flank, it will slide underneath the cuff, and from over the top, which always exaggerates the width of the watch, you can still see that the edges of the case are nowhere near the edge of my wrist. Now we have large rectangular scale alligator leather in matte black, substantial bolstering to give volume, a broad folded edge, the monotone stitch, calfskin on the bottom, a brand new Moser factory strap, no crimping, no gouging. It comes with a matching white gold pin buckle, and what we've got here is gray gold, the good stuff, a homogeneous 18-karat white gold. It doesn't need to be rhodium plated. It is white all the way through. The lugs have that wire lug look of the famous smartwatch, but again, just like a Panerai radiomere. And then we have a wonderful case that, again, is very true to its inspiration, but also beautiful because it's a monoblock. You see how there's no separate bezel? So there's no seam up here between the case and the crystal. It's just one monolithic piece of metal. We have the Moser branded knurled conical crown and a dramatically boxed and cambered sapphire that is anything but cheap to produce. These shaped sapphires are always a challenge. And then we have a dial that is distinctly Moser. If the outside is more Silicon Valley, the dial is more Schaffhausen, as we have a fume fade from silver to almost black at the edge. Moser is famous for these gradient dials, a silver sunburst center with directional brushed grain. We have fluted leaf-style hands, or fouet hands, for the hours and minutes, a matching counterweighted fouet hand for the seconds. We have applique indices. You'll note it is Swiss-made. The watch featuring a sunken subregister for seconds with a little concentric pattern at the middle. We do have a hacking seconds function. Flip it all over. Again, if you had any doubts about the motivation of this machine, not a battery, but a mainspring. 4 days of power reserve, 96 hours. Manual wind. We have 6-position adjustment, one more than a standard chronometer. There is a power reserve indicator on the back of this caliber 324, which you'll note is properly shaped and sized for its case. Always a feather in the cap of a true manufacturer that can design movements to a purpose. Taking a look, you can see a free-sprung balance with a full balance bridge, making it more shock resistant, but also easier to adjust properly with the free-sprung balance architecture. We have that overcoil hairspring, so in any of the 6 tested positions and more on top of that, the watch will keep very regular time due to the centered mass of the spiral. 14-karat gold, mechanical grade gold escapement. Moser making escapement, balance, and hairspring in-house, one of the few manufacturers that can do that. 14-karat gold for an escapement makes sense because it allows less lubricants to be used and reduces friction. You can also see that everything here, the balance, the hairspring, the balance bridge, and the escapement lifts out as a unit so that this labor-intensive and time-intensive component as a service can be replaced by a pre-serviced module when it goes into your regional Moser service bureau so it can be returned to you more rapidly. All this is water resistant down to 30 meters, and you can see a combination of finishing elements including polished screws, Moser's distinctive double crested Moser stripes. We have solarization on the power reserve indicators, a little bit of beveling inside the jewel sinks, satination and beveling on the balance bridge, media blast on the base plate with snailing on the platform beneath the escapement, and then we have a very neat machined bevel that is handsomely layered on every face of every bridge. If you love this watch, and I can't imagine why you wouldn't, remember, 30 meters water resistant, so like the famous smartwatch, you probably don't want to go swimming too much in it, but for every other occasion, see if you can fool your friends, and if someone knows what this is and takes it for what it really is, that's a watch nerd, that's a friend for life. Make friends and influence people with the Swiss Alp Watch from Moser Cie. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916 Company for purchase and pricing details.